दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत
लखनऊ जंक्शन
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವರೆ
एक्सप्रेस পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন।
Yet another heist in the end, a hostile takeover by the bank of Bumrah. Refuses to give any runs, beginning, middle or end. You know it's just going to be one way with him, which is that he is going to be a miser. And he was. He's bowled his 4 overs for 14 runs and 3 wickets. And despite that, you'd say, Gujarat has managed to get to 168 for 6. Yeah, that's what they should tell themselves, that despite running into that wall, that stone-cold wall called Jasprit Bumrah, they've still managed to get to 168 for the loss of 6 wickets. Sai Sudarshan got 45. Shubman Gill, the captain, the newly appointed captain, got 31. And there was Rahul Tewatia with a few fireworks. But the Mumbai bowling effort, well, their new captain Hardik Pandya is going to be very happy with their bowlers. I'm Gaurav Kapur. You're watching Cricbuzz Live with me, Simon Doull and Joy Bhattacharjya. Simon, first up, I'm just going to ask you one question straight up about Jasprit Bumrah, right? You're a fast bowler. Tell me how difficult it is to just be a vending machine of Yorkers.
It's incredibly difficult. What he has perfected, his art, and sometimes it's not just the on-pace Yorker, it's the slower ball Yorker that he gets right as well. When he wants to drag that slower ball back, everything he does is just absolutely brilliant. And it's 99% of the time too. It's not, very rarely does he miss. I think he bowled a full toss to Shankar in that last over he bowled in the 19th over. But when you are so worried about the Yorker, the bouncer, the slower ball, your mind can be scrambled because he is that good.
Yeah.
And you don't expect a bad ball to come your way.
Yep.
And when you're not expecting it, you're not ready for it. Another bowler, a lesser type bowler, you might be expecting a bad ball, you might be expecting a half volley or a full toss. With Bumrah, you're not. And that's one of his great attributes. He plays on the mind of the batters, and it actually doesn't matter where he bowls. Whether it's at the start, as you said, whether he comes back in the middle. You know, at the end, he's just so difficult to get away. But one thing that I'll give credit to Mumbai here, what Coetzee has done at the end as well.
Yep.
Sometimes you just target the guy at the other end, and he feels so much pressure that he goes the distance. Didn't. Coetzee's bowled really well. First game of the IPL for him at Mumbai. I thought he was terrific tonight too.
Yeah.
So, you know, nice backup for Bumrah.
So when we talk about Bumrah, and especially that full toss that Vijay Shankar only managed to get a single off, you're not just playing the ball, you're playing the reputation. And when you play the reputation of this kind of guy, there's just no way you're going to hit him. There was one boundary that Saha hit, after which he had Saha on a string. It was like he was his puppet. You bowl one over, it's 140, 120, 140, 120, 140. It is insane. The same action, nothing changes. You could tell that, even a man, 2 decades younger than Saha with quicker reflexes, you would have trouble playing that.
Absolutely. That over was sensational. And look where that over comes. They're 27 for no loss in 3. Hardik's gone for a few runs, Luke Wood has gone for runs. The nice start, they're looking confident. Shubman Gill is doing well. And then Bumrah has given the ball. And everything changes. And the last look on his face, Riddhiman Saha's first befuddlement, where did that ball go? And then resignation. I mean, he's just beaten by somebody who's just so much. He's just such a superior force.
Yeah, and both, as Simon mentioned, let's talk about Gerald Coetzee as well, playing his first game. When you look down that bowling, and that's what's interesting. He brought him in last, right? It's almost like, hey, Hardik, hey, I'm here as well. Yeah, brought him in last. He's bowled his 4 overs at just over a run a ball. So when you put him and Bumrah together, those 8 overs have gone for less than a run a ball.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. And, as I said, he sort of burst onto the scene a little bit just prior to the World Cup. Looked very good at the World Cup. He's got that real aggression. And Mumbai have always had one high-quality overseas bowler, quick bowler. They've always targeted one high-quality overseas quick bowler. They've given Luke Wood an opportunity tonight. I thought that last over that he bowled to Tewatia was poor as far as his line was concerned. He didn't have the right field set for that. But Coetzee has shown again that he's got genuine pace, aggression. He can bowl the Yorkers. He's got slower balls. He's the full package. And at 145, he's going to trouble batters again.
So that means 8 overs 41 runs and 5 wickets between Cricbuzz and Bumrah. So, yeah, so GT was really up against it today. They've got to 168. Let's have a look at how they've done that. Let's see how their batting has gone. They had the run of play the first 3 overs. You'd pretty much say after that it was the Mumbai bowling show. Despite that, they've done reasonably well in fits and starts, but haven't been able to string together a performance for 20 overs.
I think all of them, this is the one thing that, we've been talking about since day one. This is now a template you're going to see. You're not going to see too many 70s and 80s from one batsman. You're going to see every batsman 25, 30, 35. That's the way modern international cricket goes, because you're not going to allow yourself time to set up or play around one player. Those concepts are gone.
Yeah.
But I think what they got the advantage of was, I thought that the Mumbai was trying too many things with their bowling.
Yeah.
So, I was just looking on the bowling card. So, over number 1, you go with Hardik Pandya. Then Luke Wood comes in, Hardik Pandya returns, then Bumrah. Then suddenly you bring in Shams Mulani, Piyush Chawla. And there's one thing about it not being allowed to settle. But what I am also saying is there's a reverse part to it also, which is that if you've got a great Bumrah over and you put pressure there, don't release pressure. I mean, Naman Dheer, that 1 over of his which went for 13, released pressure.
Yeah.
I felt Mulani's last 2 overs released pressure. They could get 8 and over without getting worried.
Yeah.
And I think in a tighter match, perhaps today at 168 they'll get through. In a tighter match, or look, Bumrah's one of the greatest bowlers ever. He's not going to go for 14 with 3 wickets every day. Right?
Yeah.
The day he goes for 25, 30 and the other bowlers come under pressure, I think they really need to... Today Bombay had an embarrassment of riches.
Yeah.
Even though they were releasing pressure on the other end, somebody, either a Cricbuzz or a Bumrah, was coming back and applying the pressure again. That may not happen every day. That's all.
With them, they got partnerships today. Gujarat did. So therefore, they'll look at this 168 and say, what went on, man? We could have done a little better. Yes, of course, Bumrah didn't give us runs. But maybe we could have done a little better elsewhere. Could they have?
They were under the pump a little bit at times with some very, very good bowling. They want David Miller to get into his innings and then finish it off. The problem with starting slowly, and David Miller's had a tendency to start slowly, at sort of a runner ball for about the first 8, 9, 10 balls. It's kind of how he plays when he's got enough time, but then he needs to kick on. When he doesn't kick on, obviously that back end of the innings gets a little bit slower. Vijay Shankar, then, I don't think he's a finisher. I think he's, for me, in that side, he's cover at 4 if they lose 2 quick wickets.
Yep.
If they get away to a start, I just think he keeps sliding down the order.
Absolutely.
For mine, I just think he's going down to 7 and 8 for mine in that lineup, because he's not really a big power finisher. They're better off getting Tewatia up, getting Rashid up, who can, Rashid can strike the boundary. So I don't see that role being him. Relatively impressed with Sai Sudarshan, but I think, when we heard from Vikram Solanki in the commentary, I don't think it's an easy surface. I don't think it's not a 190, 200 pitch.
Yeah.
They may be 5 or 10 short of where they want to be. Particularly, we saw the dew.
Yeah.
The outfield was a little bit damp, starting to get a bit damp, and that's been a trend in Ahmedabad as well. We have seen that quite often. So it might slide on. It might be a little bit easier in the second innings.
Yeah, so there was tight bowling in a pitch that was not helping batting. And despite that, I have to say that the Gujarat running between the wickets, well, we've got to give it 5 stars today, because there was some very clever twos that they ran, which has actually taken their score up.
No, I think this is a very well-coached outfit. It's not the strongest outfit. It wasn't even in season 1 when they won the trophy, or the season 2 when they came second. But I think it's a very well-coached outfit. They mesh very well with each other. They run the ones, convert to twos. They'll not miss a break. They'll not miss a catch. All that they'll do well.
Yeah.
It's just that today there's a chance that they may just be overwhelmed. And of course, if the pitch now eases out in the second half, it's one of those things. The toss has also played a factor.
Yeah, listen, the toss is a guy who knows this surface really well, right? Hardik Pandya. So you'll imagine that he would have called it to his advantage and chosen to chase, which at 169 with that batting lineup does not seem a target too big when you see the merit of that batting lineup, because there's some solid merit there. And you'll have Rohit Sharma, who, We talk about the 19th of November. Happened right here, didn't it? So there's Rohit Sharma, who, of course, that day as well, batted well. Ishan Kishan, Tilak Varma, Naman Dheer, who, as Joy told us earlier, did well for Punjab. So he's batted well for them. Then there's the captain. There's Tim David, big hitter himself. Gerard Coetzee can hit the ball. So we've seen that. This is, and of course, they will get in one batter, one impact sub. They're going to get a batter.
Brevis, Nabi, or Shepherd. If they get away to a start, I don't see Dewalt Brevis coming in too early. I think they're more likely to bring Romario Shepherd in later in the piece if they need a power hitter. If they get behind the 8 ball a little bit and they need some big runs, in the last 4 or 5 overs, then it's more likely to me that Romario Shepherd or Mohammad Nabi would come out to the middle. So they've got options because their top 4, 5 probably are set anyway. So I don't think they need a Brevis in there. The other thing I will say about Mumbai was their fielding, their catching.
Wow,
and ground fielding was outstanding. We saw couple of really good catches. We haven't always said that in the first 3 games of the tournament so far. So
yeah, they do seem to be slow starters. It's almost like diesel engine, right? Takes a little time to get going. But today they have hit the ground running. They're really off to the races. Can they convert that by getting 2 points? Just talking about Rohit Sharma here. His last few IPLs, his runs tally definitely lesser than you would expect of a player of his caliber. I think for him as well, he can pretty much treat this senior player role in the team, non-captaincy. It can kind of liberate him and pressure, like I only have one thing to contribute now, which is my batting, not my captaincy. So let me just go out and be positive the way he did in the World Cup and bat exactly like that.
I think it's an ideal opportunity for him to just play. Just enjoy himself, play, not worry about field changes, about conditions, about any. Just go back to it and finish it off. And I think it'll liberate him. My one regret is we haven't really seen Rohit the batter in the last 5 seasons. We saw him during the World Cup and he was outstanding. That's the Rohit we want to see. Somebody who played with so much intent that it was unbelievable. He inspired a team. He inspired 1 billion people watching him. He was incredible. So I just want to see that Rohit go there and bat and show, because when Rohit bats, he's the classiest batsman. It's unbelievable the time he has to play the shots and the kind of shots he can play.
Just one 400-run season in the last 5, and that was 5 years ago. That was 19. For an opening batter, it's not good enough. You want more from a world-class opening batter. You want more than that. Now, there was 2 titles in there? 2 titles in that time. So captaincy-wise, franchise-wise, unbelievable. Brilliant. And I think, enormous amount of credit for what they've achieved over the period of time goes to Rohit Sharma's captaincy and just his ability to just be very calm and even throughout. But he would love, I think, a 500-run season. Personally, I think that would be something he'd love to sort of prove to himself now. There'll be no more late night call-ups. There'll be no more visits to the tower at 2 a.m. to talk about captaincy strategies and things like that.
No team meetings, nothing.
All that stuff that he probably will not miss at all, and he can just concentrate on his batting. So he'd love a 500-run season.
We'd love a 500-run season. I mean, pretty much all of India, any cricket fan around the world, he's the artist when he gets going. So can he do that as well? It's also interesting to see Ishan Kishan was on the other side, because he's been in the news for not so good reasons in the last few months. Joy, a good opportunity for him to silence all that chatter as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think he needs to. So A, the chatter outside. Secondly, the chatter in his own head. Because what happens is there is a lot of pressure. All these young wicketkeeper batsmen, we've been discussing this. They're about, we were discussing there are about 7 players who could
the entire batting lineup in the T20 World Cup can be wicketkeeper batters.
Exactly. And only 1 or maybe 2 of them will go. So Ishan Kishan is there in those 7. So that's also a chatter in his head. Are you going to get enough to get the opportunity? And in fact, he's one of the players who has the best opportunity because he's opening. He has enough chance. If you're batting at 4 or 5, you're not going to get enough chances. If you're batting at 1 or 2, that's your best position.
Interesting. Well, the one news of the impact sub is Sai Sudarshan is off and Mohit Sharma comes into the bowling lineup. So, no surprise over there. Well, what was a bit surprising for us was that Joy got his score guess.
Surprising.
Absolutely
That's
correct.
what it's come down to.
I know.
In 2 days.
It's a surprise.
Sledge is a sledge, it may not be justified. I agree. So, applause to him.
Yes. Thank you.
Applause to Joy. And now we're going to do a little guessing game with the power play. What is Mumbai going to get in the power play? Simon, you want to go first?
They don't need a rollicking start, so I'm going to go with 47.
56.
I'm just going to go with 70.
Whee! He's
Free Rohit. It was free
Rohit.
Willie, now it's free Rohit.
Free Willie.
Wow. You said 170 in the first one, you're saying 70 in this one.
Yeah.
If you had a third guessing game, you'd go to 7.
I'm going. Yeah.
It's just like, I'm just going to take one digit away. All right, so those are our guesses from the power play. That's all we have time for. We're going to see you at the end of 10 overs with Cricbuzz Combox. Just getting into it, seeing the conditions, seeing dew coming in, both the teams, put everything into context. Simon, advantage?
70-30 Mumbai.
70-30.
I'd go exactly the same, 70-30.
Yeah. A little more loaded towards Mumbai. But hey, Gujarat is the team that can make things happen. So you never know if they do. Yeah, it's going to be pretty exciting. Needless, I think it's definitely going to be an exciting game because you can see the atmosphere is electric at the stadium. All right, talking about electric atmosphere, we are going to eat some dessert and lie down now. Perhaps take a nap for 40 minutes and then see you on the Combox. Thank you so much for watching Cricbuzz Live.
जयपुर वाया कोटा
कृपया ध्यान आपो अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವವರೆಗೆ
Hyderabad Superfast Express পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন। कृपया ध्यान दो